with all that speech about the innovations and adoptions and changes in life and whatever, don't we overestimate the new wave of the innovation? What are the evidences that we are really at the verge of the new, or the third wave of the Industrial Revolution?
Well, there are two views. One says, life has not changed very much, We are still driving cars and, there are fancier cars than before. The new versions of new computers don't make us think faster, but they're the same as before. Lots of these apps and gadgets are not changing anything. So the world has not changed very much. But I think that some of these changes are going to start to become exponential. The Moore's law that applies for computing power could be also applied now to artificial intelligence. I'm not an expert. I talk to some of these people who are experts. Some people say we are 25 years away maximum, about 5 innovation away from singularity. Singularity defined by having thinking autonomous machines. And people say when that happens 25 to 30 years from now, you're going to have thousands of Einsteins that in parallel thinking machines can resolve all the problems of physics, of energy, of lots of stuff that has to do with science. So things are going to be changing very, very fast and exponentially. So it's hard to tell, but I think things are changing very rapidly. I mean, I'll give you an example. I spent a week this summer going to the Galapagos Islands, this beautiful place where Darwin supposedly discovered the theory of evolution by looking at the finches. So I read a couple of books about the theory of evolution. I hadn't done it since I was in high school, so my knowledge of biology was a bit rusty. So it turns out that the planet Earth has been around for 4 billion years. There was no life for another 500 million years. So life on this planet has been for 3.5 billion years. For a long time was this monocellular organism. Mammals have been around only for 400 million years. And the human race, in terms of Homo erectus, maybe has been around for 100,000 years, but Homo sapiens has been around for maybe 10,000 years. So first observation, we think that we are at the top of this pyramid, but in the history of 4 billion years of this planet and 3.5 billion of life, we're totally an appendix, at maximum 10,000 years. But in these 10,000 years from the prehistoric case where it's scribbling something, we've created all these new amazing technology are completely changing the world. And I don't know whether singularity is 25 years away or 30 years away or 40 years away. But in an extreme view of the world, we worry about machine replacing jobs. So what if machines are going to be replacing the human race? We're really a footnote in the history of this planet, let alone in the history of this universe. Maybe things are going to change so much that we are going to be totally obsolete as a human race, and deeper and more sophisticated form of life, like machine life, are going to take us over. That's why Stephen Hawking says we should start thinking about colonizing other planets. Maybe it's an extreme view, and maybe somehow there'll be a symbiosis between humans and machines in a way that actually everything's going to become much better. But I think many things are changing very, very, very fast. As I said, take the auto industry. Is only a matter of time when the issue is not going to be whether there's going to be a driverless car, but the issue is going to be, can anybody be allowed to drive a car? Because once you realize that driving a car by a human is so much more risky, because 95% of accidents are caused by humans, mistakes, then you're not going to be allowed to drive a car, be only driverless car, and maybe in a closed circuit you can just, for hobby, drive a car old-fashioned way. So we might be on the cusp of stuff that in the next 20, 30 years are going to change the world in more radical ways than the past. And certainly for people who are young generation, those kind of technological innovations radically change the world. I used to live in a generation where, if you become a doctor, you'll have a good job. If you become a lawyer, if you become an economist, a computer scientist, and so on. But even those traditional job categories may be completely disrupted by technology. So in many ways, nothing has changed radically, but probably the next 30, 40 years are going to be very different from the previous 40, 50 years. I think we might be at the cusp of major new disruptive technologies that are going to change the way we live, we work, we interact, and all the rest.